Hey everyone, welcome back to Footy Leagues Around the World. It is your host Ryan. Before we dive back into Africa and learn about the footballing pyramid of Burkina Faso, which I'm very excited to do, I thought we would do a little something different and explore a topic that I teased in the Brazil episode. If you watch any amount of football, you will know that anywhere you turn, any league you turn on, any game you turn on, it's likely that you'll find a Brazilian playing soccer somewhere in the world. Brazil is a country of 217 million people, and boy do they love football. I don't have to tell you all that. Since there are so many Brazilians playing football around the world, it got me thinking, where in the world are Brazilians not playing football professionally? Now before we begin, I have to put a huge disclaimer on this video. Unlike my normal Footy League series where we talk about literally every country and every territory around the world, it doesn't matter the size, it became pretty clear in my research for this topic that there are a number of pretty small countries that don't have any Brazilians playing in them. At the same time, these countries have virtually no information about any players at all, Brazilian or not. They also don't seem to have a domestic football league that is above a semi-professional level. So I decided to cut some of those smaller countries to focus only on countries that have a fully professional football league. How did I determine whether these leagues were fully professional or not? Football Manager. I happen to think Football Manager is pretty accurate when it comes to that kind of stuff. I've been playing it for years, but if you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully that huge caveat hasn't scared too many of you away. So, using Transfermarkt, FlashScore, and some other sources around the internet, I've compiled this list of countries where, as of 2023, there don't seem to be any Brazilian players playing professionally in them. We are taking this list in alphabetical order, so let's begin. Algeria. Remember that episode that we did 5, 6, 7 years ago? It's been so long. I'm actually a little shocked that Algeria appears on this list at all. The Algerian Leagues 1 and 2 are two of the top domestic football leagues in Africa and host some really great footballers, but as of 2023, no Brazilians apparently. At least 3 Brazilian footballers in the past 25 years have played domestic football within Algeria, but they all seem to have moved on. Hey, Burkina Faso, we're about to do that episode, so I will try not to give any spoilers here. While most people don't know much about football in this West African country, the Burkinabe Premier League is fully professional, according to multiple sources. It is also really hard to find player information on teams there. With that said, there doesn't appear to be any Brazilians playing professionally in the country as of 2023. The story of Côte d'Ivoire, aka the Ivory Coast, is basically the same as Burkina Faso. From everything I understand about the country, their top-flight league, known as Ligue 1, or the MTN Ligue 1, is fully professional, but is more concerned about training and exporting young Ivorians over importing South American wonder kids. Like Burkina Faso, up-to-date roster information is incredibly hard to find for this country, but I feel pretty good in saying that there are no Brazilians playing professionally there as of 2023. Clearly I know nothing about football in Ethiopia because through researching this video I learned that the Ethiopian Premier League, also known as the BetKing Ethiopian Premier League for sponsorship reasons, is fully professional, and I learned that there are no Brazilians playing there as of 2023. Gabon's top-flight league, the Gabon Championnat National, is allegedly professional. There has been a Brazilian coach in Gabon, but per my research, no current Brazilians play in the country. Are you beginning to see a pattern here? I was able to determine that a Ghanaian team, Hafia, did have a Brazilian manager circa 2014 and 15, but he is no longer coaching there, and there doesn't appear to be any Brazilians playing in the country either. Kenya is not really considered a footballing giant by any means, but they are a large country with a fully professional league in the Kenyan Premier League. Sadly, no Brazilians play there as of 2023. Libya has officially been out of its bloody civil war for more than 2 years now, and despite everything that's been going on in the country in the last decade, their top-flight football league, the Libyan Premier League, is considered fully professional per my research. They even had a Brazilian player playing there as of last year, but alas, he has transferred somewhere else, and the country is left with no professional Brazilian player. I don't know why I'm so shocked that Mauritania's top flight, the Super D1, is fully professional, but I guess I just am. It's clearly a blind spot for me. Anyway, they don't seem to have any Brazilians playing in that top flight as of... Another shocker is Morocco being on this list. Their top flight league, the Batola Pro, is super legit. According to CAF coefficients, it is the #1 domestic football league in the entire continent of Africa. Yet no Brazilians seem to be playing football there. There was actually one Brazilian, Polaco, who started the season with Olympic Safi, but apparently he has retired. Yes, there is definitely a pattern with this list. Nigeria, the largest country in Africa by population, has the 12th best football league in Africa according to CAF coefficients, yet no Brazilians play professional football there today. Hey, we did it, y'all! The first non-African country on this list! Now, Scotland is a bit interesting. According to Transfer Market, there are no Brazilians playing in either of the top 2 leagues in Scotland, which I assume are both fully professional. However, there is one Brazilian playing for Montrose in Scottish League, which is the 3rd tier of their footballing pyramid. But at that tier, according to Football Manager, all teams are semi-pro. Despite Senegal being a massive footballing nation with many expats playing football all across the world, their top league, Ligue 1, doesn't seem to have any Brazilians playing there as of 2013. And when I say 2013, of course I meant 2023. Hey, our first Asian country has made the list. I'll be honest, I'm surprised that the Sri Lankan Super League is fully pro. It allegedly is. And I'm also shocked that in a region of the world where you can find Brazilians fairly easily, there are no Brazilians playing in Sri Lanka's top flight. Hey, why have one Asian country when you can have 2? Tajikistan's top flight, the Wushaya Liga, is no stranger to foreign players. In fact, they have a lot of them. They even had a Brazilian player there last season. However, he is retired and now there are none. We're hopping across the Pacific to North America where we find Trinidad and Tobago. Now this one is a little weird because it appears that the country's top league, the TT Pro League, hasn't taken place since 2020. It also appears that they've had Brazilian players in the past, but none right now. Of course, if the league isn't happening right now, there are also no players from anywhere else. We are back to Africa with one of the top footballing nations on the entire continent. Tunisia's Ligue 1 Pro is huge, and they definitely have a number of foreign players, but shockingly, no Brazilians are there this season. Back to Asia we go with Turkmenistan. This incredibly isolated and insulated country barely has any foreign players to speak of, including Brazilians. Back to Africa because, of course we are in Uganda. Actually, Uganda does have a Brazilian in its top flight, called the Uganda Premier League. Unfortunately for us, Beto Bianchi is no longer playing and is in fact a manager for Vipers SC. So far, he hasn't recruited any players from his home country, but who's to say he won't? Despite the economic troubles that Venezuela has been facing for years now, their top-flight football league, Liga FUTV, is still considered fully professional. With that said, as of 2023, there are no Brazilians playing in that league. I really thought every major country in South America was safe on this list, but apparently not. Moving on. And we've come to the last country on this list. 21 countries in total, finished off by Zimbabwe. Now the story of Zimbabwe is basically the story of Uganda. They do have an active Brazilian manager in their first division, the Zimbabwe Premier Soccer League, but of course he is just a coach, which means he doesn't count. So there you have it. 21 countries around the world with professional football leagues that do not have a Brazilian playing in them. What have we learned? Well, clearly there are a lot of African countries that do not have Brazilian footballers. This is likely because of economics, though top leagues in Northern Africa specifically not having a single professional Brazilian is still a bit hard to fathom. These top flights are some of the best and most well-to-do on the continent after all. Every other continent, besides Antarctica of course, is represented professionally by a number of Brazilians, proving that Brazilians are some of the most well-traveled athletes on this planet. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I thought this would be a little fun thing to do, kind of break up the monotony of the long episodes that take a while for me to put out and to research, so hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. Also, if you're interested in a series like this where I look at, let's see, like where Argentinians are playing around the world, where they're not playing around the world, let me know. I would be happy to look into another video like this. And speaking of which, this topic kind of got me thinking of something else related to Brazilian footballers. So that video is coming on its way at some point, so make sure to stay tuned. For now, thanks again for watching.